Ziggy, stop! Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me with Lunch for Laura. I'm Laura Collet from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I've been a demonstrator for a long time, and I'm still enjoying every second of it. I wanted to share a masculine card with you today. I don't know if y'all have trouble finding a suitable stamp set to use for a masculine card, or sometimes I've gotten to where I'll send children more, you know, use stamp sets that are more geared toward children, but the adults seem to get a laugh out of that. But this is a great stamp set that I'm going to show you today. And the first thing we're going to look at is the card. This is made with the Gears and Textures stamp set and dies. And all these different textures come in it, and I'm using the designer paper called Nature Walk, and it's really great for making masculine cards or cards that don't have really a theme. So let's take a look and show you what I've come up with. Now this one is a birthday card. This one I used a totally different color scheme on. I threw in a little brass foil paper, and then these I haven't gotten around to putting a sentiment on, but they're all very similar. But I just had a blast doing these. So let me show you what the stamp set looks like. This is the stamp set, and it's got, I don't even know what to call these things. There's a chain. I think this is one of those level things. There's some splatters. The crisscross, what do you call that, hatchwork design there. There's a wheel. Here's some more background. You've got some arrows, circles. So this is good to use when you're wanting something different for your background. And the dies are like this. Now, I've kind of separated them on this page. So you've got the big wheel here, or gear. You've got a circle, then two other gears, and this came out of the center of one of the gears. There's your little hatch mark, a chain, and if you'll notice, the chain can fit right on this fresh freesia piece. And this thing that looks like a ladder can go here, or you can put this one here. So it gives you some options. And then you get extras. These were centers from the die that you can throw in if you want to. Now, the way I started with this was I picked out, let me show you what colors we're using, and it'll make a little more sense. So you've got Pretty Peacock is going to be our card base. Lost Lagoon. Then here is our Nature Walk paper. And see, it's a notebook style on the other, so you can use either one. And then I just went crazy and cut out just a bunch of gears. That way I could make multiple cards, and I could pick and choose what I wanted to use. So we have some gears with Secret Sea. I had to think on that. Oops. Silver Foil, Lost Lagoon, Pretty Peacock. So I cut those out. And so we've got some choices that can be made there. So let's go ahead and put the card together, and then we'll add the gears to it. I'm going to adhere this with our seal. Come on. Hello. Let me get another one. Okay, there we go. And that's gonna, this piece of Lost Lagoon is gonna be on here, and it measures 5 by 3.5. So it's not your standard layer. Okay, and then I cut a piece of DSP, designer paper, and it is at 4 by 3. Now, let me tell you, when, especially when you get a pack of DSP and it doesn't give you but 2 sheets and you're making multiple cards, well, I do my measurements so that I can get the maximum cuts out of a piece of 12 by 12. So I either cut it at 4 inches or at 3 inches, and that way you can get the most cuts. So the 4 inches gives you 4-inch strips, 3-inch strips, and then you can cut them the length you want them. I'm going to put this down. So it did give wider areas around than your, oops, you're not looking at me. It does give you wider mats, and that's perfectly okay. Now, where do you go from here? Well, I saw somebody online, and they said, you just put stuff, and then they put a big gear on top. Okay, well, let's see how that works. Okay, here's one of those, I think, levels. Here is the chain, and I didn't use our adhesive sheet, which I should have. And I may not use all of this. I'm going to see how it looks. So let me just tack that down. Just stick a little bit here and there, and that'll hold it. Okie doke. And I may have gotten a little much, so I'm going to take that off. And that's the right side. Okay, I didn't realize this was longer. Okay, so you can just clip that off or tuck it under. I'm just going to kind of round that end. Then we have this gear, a center from one of the gears, another center. And then some of them had decorative pieces. I don't know if you can see the little lines in that. And that. So that's what we have to choose from. So what I'm going to do is decide which silver piece I want to use. Well, I'm definitely going to use it in the big one. Then, oh, and I see what I did. I used the straight piece under here, and that's why it wasn't too short. So I'm going to be using that, and I want one of these gears and one of the little ones. And let's see, actually this one could go on top, and that way you see it a little bit better. Oops. It keeps sticking to my finger. All right, stay there. Then let's see. We have a circle there, a circle here. We could kind of stack those. We want, and I think I'm going to use the chain. Okay, so that's what I've decided to use. Maybe I'll add something else in a minute. But let's see. So I am just going to randomly place these. I'm going to put that down there. And this here. This here. And you can even offset it if you don't want to tack it down. Oops. And let's see. We got that one and that. Now you may want more or less, but there's no rhyme or reason. You just place them wherever you want them to go, and you've got a adorable masculine card. Okay, I am going to pop this one up. So let me get a dimensional, and because I have them right here, I'm going to use the dimensionals and the minis. And I'll just put a few on there. Let's get 2 more. Now that's going to go on last. So let's see. I'm going to use my liquid glue to put this on. I'm just going to put a little bead down there, just enough to catch it. I'm going to put that way. Now it would have shown up better if I had done the strip of Lost Lagoon under the silver with this much. And you can see what the paper looked like. It was all different, but this happened to be a darker piece. Okay, I'm going to stick this one down. Let's put this gear down. So, to me, this is a pretty stress-free card. You can, because you don't have to really think about what you're doing. You're just putting. Okay. And, now where did I, oh, here's that little gear. I might put that on top of that. But let's put the glue on the back and not on the front. Okay. And let's see, I'm just going to put those 2 little things where you can, oops, kind of see them. And then I'm going to put that on top. Now that's where my sentiment is going to go. Let's look at the original card. And I did have more stuff on this card, but I already had these cut, and I just thought I'll go with it. So let's see. Let's put this down. And Now I'm going to go ahead and do the sentiment, and then we'll decide if I'm going to put a couple of these other pieces. I don't want too much silver there, but we might can put the circles. And I really liked this little hatch mark thing, and I ran out of those, so I'll have to cut me some more. Let's take our secret C, and I am using Happy Birthday, and I hope it's right here. Where did I put it? To go for the sentiment there. And it came out of, and of course I'm not going to be able to find it. And I don't think I put it on my desk. So we are going to play pretend, okay? I used to love that game. And what I'm going to do is stamp Happy Birthday in, let me see if there's one in here. Yes. I'm going to do that in the secret C so that it shows up real well, like I did here. And this is the Lost Lagoon. And this is one of our newer punches, and I am using it a lot. And this is cut perfect size for it. So you're just cutting out the banner part. Then I'm going to take this, and I like to lay it down before I cut, just so I get the look I'm wanting. Okay, so I left about that much at the end, and I'm going to get out my little paper cutter, and cut off right there. You know, that little stamp was here. I have the blue people that live around my house, and they move things, important things, when I need to use them. Do y'all have the blue people at your house? Drives me crazy. And I could have sworn I put it down. Well, we're not going to waste time looking for it. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to pop this up too with 2 large dimensionals. Oops. And I'm going to put it right up here. And remember, we're playing pretend. So this says Happy Birthday, okay? It's in invisible ink. So that's where I just put that down. And see the invisible ink? It says Happy Birthday. And let's see, I think I am going to add another one of these little doodads. And I'm going to offset these 2 circles. Now let me see if I put them over here. I kind of need to do them like that. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the Lost Lagoon and then put it with the peacock, and I'm just going to put them right there. So see, you don't have to get all stressed out about where everything's going to go and is it going to be perfect. You can just play at your heart's content, and I could put that right there, I guess. I'm going to leave it off. Okay, like you can put as much or as little as you want. But doesn't this make a great masculine card? Let me look at the other ones. And let's see what the stamp set. Okay, I used the, let me see if I wrote it on my paper. I did not. I believe that this is from one of our product of the month. We had one stamp set, I think it was January, that had some phrases in it. So that one says, to a fabulous friend. Then you could put happy birthday on the inside if you wanted to. You could do happy anniversary, thinking of you. You know, it doesn't have to be birthday, but that seems to be the one that I'm always lacking. And here, I actually built the shapes and put them together to make one big gear. So you can see that. And there's that little piece that looks like a ladder. Okay, that was the sample we kind of went for. And I think this needs a little bit more, but you can get the idea and put as much or as little. And what I did cut scraps that are probably 3 by, I don't know, 5.5 or 6. And I cut one in every color that I wanted to use. So this happens to be cloud cover, and I didn't cut anything out of that, but that would go nicely, especially with the silver. This is the Lost Lagoon, and that's Pretty Peacock, Lost Lagoon, our silver foil, and this is the Secret Sea. And what I did was I think I even cut some of these 2 at a time. If you do put your die on and you're cutting 2 at a time, run it through one way, then pull it back, run it through again and pull it back, and that should cut through both layers. And I just cut all sorts of different shapes, or you can use the same shapes for each color and then mix them up. And I just had a good time with this. So, I hope that this may have given you some ideas, made you think hard about whether you wanted to get this set for the men in your life. And if that was in all different colors, that would be really pretty. But I did like this one I did in Early Espresso. And I threw in the brass, no, that's copper, I guess, and some brass. So that looked good. So, have fun. Experiment. Go wild. See what you can come up with that the men in your life would enjoy. So, until, let's see, I'm going to be in California next week for Stampin' Up! And then my sister lives not too far from Los Angeles. She lives in Indio, California by Palm Springs. So I'm going to be driving out there and spending 10 days with her. So I'm looking forward to a great trip. And I won't be online those 2 weeks, but I'll get back as soon as I can, okay? Have a great rest of the week. Enjoy your weekend. And I will see you soon. Love you. Thanks for tuning in. And the details are at the bottom of where the video is. Thank you.